Hey guys, this is Sandy Sills again, your Central Florida real estate agent. Today I want to do a topic regarding Airbnb, my favorite subject, as you could tell, right guys? Anyways, today I want to do a topic on how do you find the correct neighborhood or the correct development for your Airbnb property. And if you choose a development or a neighborhood and there's no property for sale in that particular neighborhood, how do you find one? And another thing that I really want to touch topic on is, do you really have to buy a profitable Airbnb property for it to be profitable? In other words, do you have to find a property that the numbers are working on to purchase that particular property for it to work for you, right? So let's find out about the development. So what I always tell my clients is you want to be no more than 30 minutes away from the parks. If your target market is going to be theme park goers like Disney people, SeaWorld, Universal, right? You want to be within 30 minutes of that if that's what it is. Also, the 30-minute radius will also give you an option to also rent to people who are looking to come to rent down here, but they're not necessarily looking to go to the park every day. Like these may be snowbirds. Like January through March, we have a big population of snowbirds that come because they want the warm weather. Or it could be people that is coming down to work temporarily for a company, maybe one of the hotels, maybe one of the theme parks, or maybe any other job that's here, right? So you want to have the option to also to rent not only to the theme park goers, but also to rent to people looking to rent for 1 to 3 months. Why is that important? Because during the slower months, like our slowest months for Airbnb or short-term rental is going to be between the end of August to the middle of November. So September and October is always going to be our 2 slowest months. So what are we going to do with the property? Do we want this property to sit for 2 months? There's a few things that we could do. We could lower our rates during that time period to get more occupancy, or we could find someone that's looking to rent for a month or two that is coming down here. Maybe they're relocating and they want to rent a furnished home for a month or two to figure out what area they want to live in. Or maybe they're building a new construction home here and the home is not ready as yet, but they need temporary housing. There could maybe even be a local who's looking to build a home and they're selling their home to buy another home, but they have to sell their home first to get the money to buy the other home, and they need somewhere to stay during that transition, right? So many different reasons. So choosing a location from 0 to 30 minutes away from the parks is a great idea. The more amenities that's in the development, the more you're going to get family-oriented people, right? So let's take a development. Let's say Encore. Encore is in Reunion. It has a super state-of-the-art water park. So a lot of families are going to book in that location because of the water park. Now, does it mean because they're a family, they're only going to theme parks? Not necessarily. They could be coming down also because they want their family to enjoy the theme parks, but they may also be working, right? So that could be a great location as well. So those are some of the things to consider as to where you want to be. Maybe you don't want the big HOA because obviously the developments that have these great amenities like the water park, the beachfront pool, the spa, the sauna, the gym, they're going to carry a higher HOA than a community that doesn't have all that stuff, right? Maybe it's a community with no HOA, or maybe the HOA is pretty low because there's not much amenities. And you got to figure out what way is better for you. Does it make better sense for you to be in a community with more amenities so you could charge a higher nightly rate? Or do you do one that doesn't have a high HOA and don't have a lot of amenities and just adjust your nightly rate accordingly, right? So those are some things to consider. So I meet a lot of people and they're like, I want to buy a Airbnb, but I want to buy one that's already making a profit, or I want to buy one that they already have a lot of bookings on it. And here's what I want to touch on with that. If you found a property for sale that's already in a short-term rental program or Airbnb program, what's going to happen is, if they have a lot of bookings that they're going to convey over to you, that means when you buy the property, you're going to get all those bookings. More than likely, you're going to have to stay with that property management company, because obviously the property management company that was working with that property is who came up with all these bookings. So you're going to have to stay with them. So you may be obligated to that property management company. Maybe the owner was doing it, which is a better scenario. If the owner is the one that was self-managing and they have all these great bookings to convey over to you, then more than likely they probably were using the platforms themselves and you're not stuck in a property management company, but then you're going to have to still work with the owner until those bookings are finished, right? You could develop your own accounts on all the platforms, Airbnb, Verbio, Booking.com, all the others, right? And then what you do is you block your calendar on the dates that's already booked. So let's say the owner is giving you, let's say 2 weeks in March as an example. Then when you buy the property and close on the property, you'll block off those 2 weeks in March on your own platform. That way there's no conflict on the calendar, if that makes sense, right? There's a lot of little details that go into this Airbnb world or the short-term rental work. But what you have to consider is if it's a property that's already been booked and they have a lot of bookings that is going to be transferred to you, and you're going to have to use their property management company to get all these bookings transferred to you, then you need to find out about the property management company. How much do they charge? What is their monthly fee? How much are they charging you per booking? There are property management companies that will charge anywhere from 10 to 25% per booking. Are you okay with 25% per booking? Maybe they charge 10 to 25% per booking and they charge a monthly rate of $500. Are you okay with that, right? What is the bottom line? You're getting all these bookings, but what is your bottom line, right? So these are things you have to consider. Here's what I'm going to tell you from experience, because I have several short-term rental properties myself. And by experience, I will tell you that if you're buying a property, what matters is going to be the location of the property and how upgraded the property is, right? How renovated is the property? Are you going to have the modern stuff like granite counters, the lighter color cabinets? That's the big desirability of today, right? Do you have a pool? Does the home look modern, right? Because you're competing now with new construction properties as well. Remember this. So the more modern you have your property and the more teamed out the property is, the more money you'll make. It is not going to be based on how many bookings you're going to get, because here's the thing. If you bought a property and they had a lot of bookings on the property and it gets conveyed over to you, what happens when all those bookings are gone? Are you going to be able to keep that up? And what if you decide, you know what, I don't want to use this property management company once I finish all the bookings? Then how are you going to market to make sure that you're maintaining the same thing? So the important thing about getting a Airbnb or a short-term rental property is going to be what is going to be your marketing strategy. You have to have a marketing strategy. Are you going to give it over to a property management company to do it for you? Or are you going to do your own booking yourself and get a property management company just to do the local groundwork? Or are you going to have a full-time property management company to do both? Or are you going to do everything yourself? And here's what I'm going to tell you. In today's world, you have to have a smart Airbnb, which means your Airbnb home has got to be a smart home or a smart condo or a smart townhome. You have to have keyless entry, right? You have to have smart locks, smart thermostat. You want to have cameras on the outside. If you have a townhome or a condo, you could have a Ring doorbell. If you have a house, you could have a camera on the front or on the back, because remember, we can't have any cameras on the inside, right? The two most important things you want to have, if you have particularly a pool home, you want to make sure you have the technology on the sliding door, so when they open the door and go outside, if they leave it open, the AC will shut itself down and it will never come back on until they close that door. That's a very big thing, because that is going to play in your electric bill. Another thing you're going to want to do, if you have a pool home, you want to automate the pool. From an app on your phone, you want to be able to control that pool. You want to be able to turn the heat on and off. If somebody wants the pool heated or not, you want to be able to control it on your phone. And you also want to control the timer on the phone. So typically, if the pool is running every day and it's not being heated, you can run it from like 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. If the pool is being heated, then you want to run it from maybe 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., right? So there's going to be different in timing with the length of time that the pool is being run. And what I tell my buyers all the time, or even my investors that are looking to buy Airbnb properties, when they ask me about utilities, I say to them, for your electric bill, it's going to be conducive to the amount of bookings you have. If the house is sitting empty and there's nobody in the house, obviously electric bill is going to be low. If your electric bill is high, it means you have a lot of turning over. It means that you have a lot of guests coming in and out, and that's a great thing. So you can't really sit down and think about an electric bill of, oh, I'm going to have a $400 electric bill. If you have a $400 electric bill, then you are doing really great, and you probably had 80 to 90% occupancy in that month, right? That's just a good thing, and that's what we're looking for, right? So there's a lot of things to consider when choosing a Airbnb property. Just because the property have a lot of bookings on it does not necessarily mean it's the best one to get. And just because a property have no bookings on it does not mean it's not the best property to get, because you're going to go in and you're going to create your marketing strategy. You're going to make it a smart property, and you're going to be getting your bookings if you use us, of course. Anyways, you could give us a call, 407-791-4713, or send us a text, and we will schedule a Zoom consultation with you. It doesn't matter where in the world you are. We do a Zoom consultation if you're thinking of doing the Airbnb or short-term rental space in the Central Florida area. We will walk you through the process, and we will help you choose the best thing for you. And more importantly, we also do property management. So if you're looking for a great property management company, we will be able to help you with that as well. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and I'll see you on the next video.